Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine.
What would you say has been the greatest lesson, or what? Yes, what would you say has been the greatest lesson that you have learned from this whole experience?
Yeah, I think that the greatest lesson is I've learned is trusting too much. I trust too much. No matter how much somebody is telling you or whatever a person is telling you, I think you should do your own investigation. I didn't do any investigation. I trusted blindly. And to be honest with you, yes, I used to be very upset. Now I am not. I see my son and I am very happy. And I think that the greatest consolation for me, sometimes when I think about the things he does, is the fact that what if when I had him, he died? We wouldn't have taken care of my son. And so for me, doing a father and a mother duty has made me very strong. It has made me hustle 3 times as hard. I've always been a hustler because I started taking care of my family at 16. And of course, I drove my first car at 21. I was already a big face in Nollywood before I met Johnny. So it wasn't as if it was for money or anything. In fact, Johnny didn't have money when I met him. He didn't have liquid cash. He had money, he had assets, but he didn't have liquid cash. In fact, there was a time he wanted to print reality magazine. I had to give him 300,000 out of my 310,000 I had in my account in 2005. You know, I was pregnant then. I gave him 300k and I had 10,000 naira left in my account. So for me, it's like I brought so much to the table, but he gave me nothing. And so, but then again, when I look at my son, I say, okay, that's my own consolation. That's my profit. Make I hold that one. I think trusting blindly is a bad thing. And everybody shouldn't trust blindly. No matter what anybody is saying, you should kind of do your cross-check and see if the person is telling you the truth or not.
So what's your own definition of love, your experience so far? How would you describe love?
I think when you say you love someone, you must be able to put that person's, whatever you want to do to that person, you must be able to say, if I do it to myself, how will I feel? And then tell yourself that, okay, if I'm going to feel pain if I do this thing, then I cannot do it to somebody I love. And so my definition of love is very simple. Whatever you want to do to somebody, think about how you're going to feel if you do it to yourself. And if you're able to maintain that, you will see that love is not something that I don't believe in love at first sight. It grows. You will know that love is not something that just happens. That love is a deliberate effort. Love is something you need to learn how to do. When we're not perfect, we're not perfect individuals. There are sometimes you hurt somebody, you don't even know you're hurting that person. So you must keep working on yourself day in, day out to get that thing they call love. That thing, love, is not something that just happens. You need to learn it. And so the best way to learn it is keep putting yourself in anybody's shoes. Whatever you want to do to somebody, put yourself in that shoes first. You will just see that you are a good person naturally and you are loving people. Because I always tell people, you cannot give love if you don't love yourself first.
When was the first time that you fell in love?
I used to think that I fell in love with Johnny Okosun until I met the man in my life right now. So I can safely say that I fell in love for the first time 10 years ago.
Good. Okay, would I be correct to say that John Okosun did what he did to you, or what you claimed he did, because he got you so easily?
Because I did what?
Because he got you so easily.
He did. Funny enough, he didn't get me easily. Johnny asked me out for more than 3 months before I agreed to see him. And then, of course, like I said, a friend of mine wanted to matchmake us, even though I didn't know who he was. And the girl tried and failed without any luck until, of course, the day he saw me and him, and he was like, oh, this is the same woman I was talking about. So he didn't get me easily. I went to Mega Plaza to buy something. You also came to Mega Plaza to buy something. You saw me, we exchanged contacts. I didn't go back to sit down with you. I left, you went your way, and then we kept talking. I was very busy. I think I was shooting Super Story one bad apple. So I was very, very busy. I didn't even have his time until one day I decided to see him. So it wasn't as if he got me easily. And besides, how can you even define getting somebody easy? You can toast a woman for 2 years and you date that woman for 1 month and you break up with the woman. You can toast a woman for just a day, date that woman for 2 weeks, get married to that woman, and you be together for 40 years. I've seen a 40 years old marriage, and that started just by saying hello to each other, and that relationship picked up, and they got married 6 months after, and they are together till today, 40 years and still counting. So there's nothing like getting somebody easily. There's nothing like getting somebody easily.
Okay. Now, how did your family react when you became pregnant for John Okosun? Without all
so that's another funny. When I say I trusted him blindly, these are the things I'm talking about. When I got pregnant, we agreed that nobody will know because of his past experiences on how his ex will say, I am pregnant, and the child they will lose the child according to him. Because at the time I met him, he had divorced his first wife 7 years before I met him. So I had nothing to do with it. And I was, in fact, still a virgin when he divorced his wife. So I didn't know him. I didn't know anything about it. So even till today, I've never met that woman face to face. So, but all the stories he told me and everything. So for me, I felt there's no hurry. You have already said you are going to marry me. So if your own by your own experience is that let's have the baby, or let me get pregnant first, and then before we can tell our family, then no problem. That's what we'll do. So that's what we did. And the agreement was that 3 months into the pregnancy, we're going to have a registry marriage. That way, we'll now wait and have the baby before we now tell the whole family about it, because according to him, he didn't know where his problem was coming from. So when I now got pregnant, 3 months into the pregnancy, he says, you know what? How am I sure you are pregnant? It could be the same thing that these other people were doing. So we can't do registry until the pregnancy is 6 months. So while we were waiting for 6 months until they scan, 3 months into the pregnancy, we went to do scan. He collected the result, put it in his pocket, and he was smiling and blah, blah, blah. So while we were still waiting for 6 months to get pregnant, my father came one day from the village to see me because I had stopped picking his calls. And then he bumped into me with a very big stomach. And like, what's this? Then he wanted to start laying curses. I'm saying, don't lay curses. So the person is there. It is not a mistake. This is why we didn't come and all of that. So he insisted he wanted to see him. He came, they saw each other, and they told him, no matter the thing when they fear, he must come up with come marry me. That was how they went while I was still pregnant. And that was how they did all the marriage rights. And my father said to him, you cannot make the child illegitimate. So you need to come for all the marriage rights. You need to pay a certain amount, but not the dowry, so that the child is not illegitimate. That way, after the child is born, you can now come and just pay only the dowry. So that was exactly what we did. And that was how it happened. If my father didn't come, I would not born before they know, all because I was trusting a man who was older than me, who knew exactly what he was doing. At the time, I was 25. So he knew what he was doing. I was 25, he was 45. John is 20 years older than me. So he knew exactly what he was doing.
Okay, so do you feel used and dumped by John Okosun?
Number one, nobody can use and dump anybody. Yes, when it comes to dump, I don't feel like I was dumped because I left. When they wanted to kill my son, I chose my son over that relationship. Now, when you say used, yes, because 5 years later, I find out that this is why this person even married you in the first place. You are not his spec. He likes yellow women. So how will you feel if you were in my shoes? So, but again, the mistake he made, or the mistake I would say he made, if I was him, because it takes two to tango. You cannot force somebody to be with who he does not want to be with. So for me, not being with me, it's okay. Because, I mean, why will we make two of us make ourselves unhappy if we are not going to be happy with each other? Yes, I would have been happy with him because I don't actually have a spec. But he has a spec. He wouldn't have not been happy with me. But there's a way you can do it. There's a way you do it in a way that this person understands that if I am with you, two of us are going to be unhappy. Because at the end of the day, it is what you give, you receive. If you're not giving me love, then whatever love I have for you will die. Because you need to keep nurturing the love I have for you for it to continue to grow. So, I mean, instead of us to be in a painful or a loveless relationship, it's better for both of us to go our separate ways. But you do it in a way that at least that responsibility that is between two of you is taken care of. I don't believe you must force somebody to marry you. That's one thing I don't advise people. If a man say I love you today and he say I don't love you tomorrow, pack your bag and go. If a woman say I want to be with you and tomorrow she says I am no longer interested, let that relationship, because these are the things that build up to domestic violence, and at the end of the day you hear that somebody is dead. So but there is a responsibility between you and this person. Take care of that responsibility. That is my own anger. That's my own, that's the aspect where I do not agree with him. If you don't marry me, no big deal, no be by force. It's not every woman you meet that you will marry. It's not every woman you tell I will marry you, you will marry. It's not every woman you pay dowry on, you will stay with till the end. We dey see am, they happen. So I don't believe in forcing anybody to be with me. But I believe that if you have children, you brought them to this world, you must look after them. That's what I believe. So for me, that's the only aspect I feel I was kind of used, because I'm the only one now taking care of the child, and the child is bearing his name.